Hey, all right, everybody, how's it going? Now, the other day I did a video about the DJI Action 2 and I compared it to the Osmo Action 3. And on that short video, just a comparison video, it showed how out of focus the old Action 3 was compared to the Action 2. You can see it's quite visible. And then I did a follow-up video saying how I'm sending it back for repair. They won't give me a refund because I'm past the 14 days, unfortunately. I should have looked at the problem before. But anyway, on that second video I did, DJI made a comment. And in that comment, they admitted that the cameras have got a fault. They say some cameras have got a fault. They can't say all because, and it might not be all. Some people might have good cameras. But it says some cameras have this fault. And I'll read out exactly what they said about the fault now.
After testing and analysis, our engineers found that this issue is caused by a larger internal parameter that some cameras have. This issue can be resolved through firmware updates.
Wait a minute. Only some cameras are affected. So that means that the cameras that are affected would need the firmware update, and the cameras that are not affected wouldn't need the firmware update. Is that right? I mean, you couldn't put the corrective firmware update on a camera that doesn't need it because then that would be overcorrected. Does that make sense? I don't know. Anyway, I did ask them, I said, what does that mean? What is actually affected? And they said,
the internal parameters are some parameter values that are related to camera resolution.
Okay then, so you can see that they've actually admitted there is a fault. The engineers have looked at the cameras and they've come across a fault. Now, I'm not quite sure, the wording of that, I'm not quite sure what it means. I did ask them, but they didn't want to reply. I asked them, I said, is it something to do with the lens being, not calibrated properly to the sensor? They didn't answer that question. They want to keep quiet. They probably can't say too much. That's what I'm thinking anyway. I might be wrong, but they're trying to say that a new firmware update will cure it, right? And that came out the day after I sent off the camera. So the camera's going off to them. Now, I'm thinking in my head now, because they're asking me what is the case number, I'm thinking in my head, they're going to get hold of my camera and they're going to put the firmware update on it and send it back to me. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. And I'm like, it's probably going to have the same problem. I'm thinking it's going to have the same problem. I think it's going to come back from there with this brand new firmware update on it. And all that's going to happen is they've added some jiggery-pokery to the firmware to make it a bit sharper or a bit more vibrant. Something like that. Now, if anybody is watching this video and is a bit more clued up to the wording they put on there, the engineers found this fault, and that wording that they put there, does anybody know exactly what that means? Parameters, I don't know, it sounds like some sort of hardware. It sounds like some sort of hardware is out, doesn't it? That's what it sounds like to me. And why didn't they want to answer? When I asked them specifically what it is, they haven't answered me. And if anybody else has done a video on DJI and DJI has commented on your video, have they given a more specific answer? I'd like to know if they've sort of given a more specific answer, because it seems a bit vague to me. It seems like the wording is very, very vague on purpose. So anyway, that's just a quick update of what DJI has said to me. And if anybody's had the brand new software, which came out on the 14th of October, I think it is, if anybody's had that and they've had success with it, write in the comments if you think it's a lot better and has fixed the problem. And have you done any comparisons with it as well? Because I'd like to know if what the firmware has exactly done. I don't know. I feel like the lens needs to be tweaked, personally, myself, and that means taking the camera apart, doesn't it? So I don't know. But anyway, that's a quick update to the video I did before and the video I did before that, if you know what I mean. So please, guys, if you know anything about this more than me, do put it down in the comment section. what you think, or if DJI has been in contact with you and they've told you exactly what the problem is. We know there's a problem now because they've admitted it, okay? So we know there's a problem. It's not just our eyes being all a bit funny. There is definitely a problem because their engineers have found a problem. They've only said some cameras, not all cameras, okay? But we know there is definitely a fault because DJI have said themselves as a fault. And the reason why I'm saying this is because somebody else in the comment section said, I shouldn't be moaning. I shouldn't be moaning about a camera that only cost $400 or £309 in the UK. I shouldn't be moaning because it's cheap. And I said, no, I should be moaning because even DJI have said it's a fault. I'll show the comment by here now. And I think what he's saying is wrong. You shouldn't, even if the camera's cheaper, you shouldn't put up with faults. If it's a fault on the camera, then you should be sending it back and the company should be sorting it out. But anyway, so there you go. That's a little follow-up on the last video and the video before, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ta-ra!